Welcome to another District 75 AI tutorial. Today we will learn about how to use Google Gemini to create audio lessons. Google Gemini is IRMA approved and free to use for DOE students and employees. Keep in mind that while you generally own what you create, AI generated works may not be eligible for copyright protection in some jurisdictions. Also, remember to refrain from inputting confidential, personal, or proprietary information into AI prompts. You can use Gemini AI in Google Classroom to create custom podcast-style audio lessons by inputting topics, grade levels, and learning objectives. So the first thing you want to do to get started is to navigate to Google Classroom. Once you're in Google Classroom and you're logged in with your DOE credentials, you want to go to the left-hand column and click on Gemini. Once you're in Gemini, you can scroll down to create an audio lesson. Now, when you're getting ready to create your audio lesson, some of the information that you want to make sure you have is the target grade. So for this assignment, as an example, I'm going to put 8th grade. So my topic is Black History Month. Is it fair to remove details about American history? Now is going to generate learning objectives based on that topic, based on a grade. So here's some suggested learning objectives that it gives you once you put in a topic. So it says students will be able to analyze and articulate arguments for and against the removal of specific details about American history, particularly those related to Black History Month. Students will be able to evaluate the impact of including or excluding historical details on a complete understanding of American history and the significance of Black History Month. So this is actually great. This is like spot on with what my lesson was designed to be about and the topics that the students would be reflecting on and writing about. So now you have an option to personalize your audio lesson. So it says you can choose the avatars and the voices for audio lessons, teacher and student hosts as seen below. So here you have the script that's kind of be developed here where it says, welcome, I'm your guide. I'm here to guide you through the material and highlight the key takeaways. And the student is responding, that sounds interesting. So it just gives you like an example of how the conversation is going to be framed. So based on this, and you could select an avatar that's, a reflection of your student population. So I'm going to choose this avatar for the teacher and this avatar for the student. And then there's also different voices that you can listen to. So voice 1, if you click play.
Welcome. I'm here to guide you through the material
and voice 2.
Welcome. I'm here to guide you through.
So I'm going to go with voice 1. And then for the student, we have.
That sounds interesting. I'm ready to dive in.
That sounds interesting. I'm ready to dive in.
So basically, it's like a male voice and a female voice. I think this avatar would probably be better with voice 1.
That sounds interesting.
So now, once you have that, all you have to do is click Generate Audio Lesson. So with those simple prompts and inputting our topic and grade, the audio lesson is now generated. And this is a great way to have students, especially students who are auditory learners, to actually listen to get a better understanding or idea of any topic that you're teaching. And this can also promote, classroom discussion. And you can also use this as a way to assess students by having them listen to the audio lesson and then complete the prompts or the whatever questions that you may have designed for this lesson, or to make a group project where students are collaborating in their response. Or they can use this information as a source for like a debate. So I'm not going to play the entire audio lesson, but just to see what was generated, I'm going to play a snippet.
Hello. Today, we're going to explore a really important topic, the ongoing debate about how Black history should be taught in schools. We'll cover why we celebrate Black History Month, the arguments for focusing only on positive stories, the necessity of including difficult historical truths, and how teaching the whole story helps us understand the present day.
That sounds really interesting. I've heard a lot about Black History Month, but I don't know much about the debates over how it should be taught. Where should we start?
That's great. Let's start with Black History Month itself.
I'm going to stop right there. So far, I like how the conversation was generated, and it looks like it's going in the right way. One thing that you can do for yourself is you can look through the transcript because the dialogue is there. So that way you do have a component where students can actually read it and go back into the text if they're going to cite anything. And you also want to make sure to any specific facts that you want to double check just to make sure that the information is accurate and that everything coincides with whatever your original topic and plan was. So you don't want to just automatically assume that all this information is correct, but this information that's generated is utilizing resources from online sources. Even right here, it does have a disclaimer. Generative AI can make mistakes, including about people. So double check it. Some features and languages are experimental. And if you click a link here, you can learn more about Gemini in a classroom. So that's great. You can also share your opinion. You can put a like if you think the content was good, or put a dislike, thumbs down. And that's also part of data collection for the app itself to make sure that they are generating things and your response, influences how they continue to proceed and which outputs are favorable or accurate versus which aren't. All right, so once you had an opportunity to listen through and to make sure everything in your audio lesson is correct, you can export. If there is anything that you want to change, you can edit the details. You can maybe, if you don't feel like the audio lessons was generated in the way that you imagined or that's appropriate for your topic in class, you can always change the topic to get something that's more specific, or you can also adjust the learning objectives because the audio lesson will be based on this as well. And it says always review and edit learning objectives to be specific and relevant to your class. So of course with District 75, if you want to modify for students based on their learning level or based on IEP goals, this is something that you can include in there. You can also differentiate the learning objective. So there's different ways that you can modify for students. So I went back and made some changes to the topic and was able to get a learning objective that was more fine-tuned and closely resembling the assignment that I created originally. So that way this could be a great source. And now I'm regenerating the audio lesson to see what the output is. So now that I reviewed the final version that I generated, I can go to the last step, which is to export this so it can be utilized and shared in Google Classroom, or I can use this if I want to use this as a resource for live instruction in a classroom. And sometimes these are great things to use if you have to pivot to remote learning or if you want to assign it as a homework assignment. So you can export it to the Drive or to the slides. So let's export to Drive. When you export it to Google Drive, it will create an audio file.
Hello. Today we are going to dive into a really important topic. Why?
And when you have your audio file, you can share your audio file. You can use your audio file. And there's also tools that allow you to take an audio file and create a visual from it. If you want to learn more about that, you can also browse through our other videos in the District 75 AI Cohort channel on our website. Now let's see what happens when we export it as a slide. So when you export it as a slide, make sure to adjust your pop-up blocker settings because it will be blocked. So now that I've made that adjustment, I'm going to click export into slides one more time. And now they created a Google slide. So I think this is great because it's a nice visual and it allows you to see the discussion, to see the dialogue in the text, especially when students have to cite evidence from the text or refer back to something that was read. However, when it's in a Google slide form, this is a visual format. So there are other ways where you can combine the visual and the audio using different tools. So like I said, you can look through our different videos available on the website. So that way you're able to learn more about how to utilize other great tools to create content and resources and materials that will enhance your instruction. So now you can pause and try it for yourself. For more information or to provide feedback, please visit www.d75stem.com/AI. And remember, use AI responsibly and consider the environmental impact. Thanks for watching.